Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to our next snippet, and we're on snippet 92. Wow. But again, just like the Thrinchies, it is wonderful to look back on them and just, I still love that one. It's lovely to just look back on them. It really does make me happy looking back on each one. They're just wonderful. I absolutely love it. So what I'm going to do now is snippet 92, and I want a page that's going to coordinate with this page. So you don't have to design the exact same thing, but I like it to just work together. So we're going to do snippet 92. I've got pencils on my desk from previous projects doing journal pages, so I'm just going to use them because it'll coordinate with that anyway. So it's absolutely fine. I didn't get the stamp out because I'm really good. So stamp set number TE4, New Beginnings. So we're going to use the New Beginnings stamp set. Whoops. Very well used stamp set, which makes me happy. I like it when they're well used. It really does make me happy. I'm going to take our stamp. Oops, there we go. Grab a black ink pad. So I've got my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And these are just a snippet of an idea. It might not be finished. You might go back to it and do it again, you know, and add other bits. So they're just little snippets of ideas. They don't have to be overly complicated. It's just exactly that, a snippet of an idea. So I'm just going to decide where I'm going to place this. So I'm going to, am I going to place it like that or that? No, we're going to place it like that. So I'm going to add the stamped image here. Now, there's nothing on that card, so it will be absorbent because there's no inks on there, etc. But I'm just going to allow that just to sit on there. I don't need to lift the acrylic blocks or anything. The only thing I need to do is, one, have a good ink pad. Two, just make sure you give that time to sit on that card and you don't lift it off the card too much, because you've got this sort of, it isn't a silhouette, but it's got this black area here. So you need to give that area time to sort of, you know, absorb onto the card and give you that good impression. I'm just pressing very lightly, not too hard at all. So I'm just pressing very lightly. So I'm just giving that time just to absorb onto that card. And then if I just lift that up, you've got a good impression. It's just having a little bit of patience and giving that time. So I'm then going to, of course I've got no copy of paper, bear with me. Just grab some copy of paper and I'm just going to give that a little blot, just so that when I'm doing anything else, I don't smudge that. There we go. And I'm then going to take the light bulb. I'm going to take light bulb Snippet Stencil SS8. And of course, nobody knows where it is because I have mapped that many times. I've got it stuck. There we go. And if you're unsure what it is, it actually says on there, on the stencil, Snippet Stencil SS8. It's up to you which way you use that light bulb. I'm going to add this here, like so. And then I'm just going to draw a very light pencil line just around this. Shall I have it down a bit or up a bit? Up a bit. Do you like how I can't make my mind up? So I'm just going to have the light bulb and I'm just going to draw around this with my pencil. There we go. So that I've got that light bulb shape around my floral. And again, I keep putting things back because I'm trying to stay tidy. So if we look at our previous page, we had a little bit of the brown in there as well. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to use the brown or not. But what I'm going to do first is I'm giving the floral a little bit of time to dry, and that's why I blotted it, because I'm coming in with the Prismacolor pencils. The Prismacolor pencils, those waxy pencils, will pick up the black if you don't just give it a little bit of time just to dry, or at least blot that image. Or you can actually give it a dry with your heat tool, just so that you don't pick that up. What I'm going to do is add that colour now. So these might be different colours than I used in the previous video, but it doesn't matter as long as it sort of coordinates. So I'm going to use black grape. So I'm going to add the black grape, and I'm going to add a little bit to the edge here. So I've got a little bit in the centre here, just with a circular motion, and I'm going to add a little bit just at the edge as well. Oh, no, I nearly went there then. Wasn't concentrating. I was going to colour the whole floral. So just then, and just in here, I was getting carried away then. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that in here. Let's just a little bit on there. And then, so that was my dark colour, which is black grape PC996. I'm then going to use PC925 Crimson Lake, and I'm going to come in very lightly with the Crimson Lake, like so. And it looks like nothing on earth when you first do it, because I just come in with this light layer of colour, and it just, initially it looks like nothing. So we're just adding that light layer of colour, like so. So it's very blocky initially, very blocky, she says as she picks the wrong pencil up. Hang on a minute. Yeah, so now I'm coming to my lighter colour, which is Poppy Red PC922. So just coming in with the PC922. So I've got 3 colours that I'm just adding. And it's up to you which colours you use. You can change it for your blues and greens if that's what you like using. But I always think it's a good idea just to do a few different things, because it just makes it look completely different. Now, before I carry on, I'm just going to grab the light bulb again, because I just want to check something. Now, I'm just going to have the one. This is the problem with me. When I'm playing around, I can't help just, I have a little play around. So I'm going to come in now with my darker colour. And what I'm doing is adding another layer of that colour. Now, if you watched my previous journal pages, I came in, I only did 3 layers, and I came in a little bit firmer than this, but when I'm going directly on white card, I just want to build those layers up very softly, just filling in the white of the card and the grain of the card, and it just fills in nice and smoothly, but not too quickly, just so that we can build those layers up gently. So you can see that's the second layer of that colour, and then I'm going to go to my mid colour, which is the Crimson Lake, and I'm coming into the darker colour with the Crimson Lake. So just coming in with that darker colour with the Crimson Lake. And the snippets, the idea is it's just that snippet of an idea, but it's a different format than the Thrinchy in that it's a different size. so it gives you a different feel and a different area to work with. Now, the idea of the snippets and the fringes is that we use our products, and that even if we only create a little bit, even if you just do that bit and then walk away and then come back another day, that's absolutely fine. You're just having a snippet of creativity, but you're using those products, and that is the key point. I'm then going to come in with the poppy red. So it's more about not allowing those products to sit on your shelf in your craft room doing nothing. The idea is that you're using those products, even if you've only got a snippet of time. You can do one part of the snippet, all the snippet, or do the snippet in 3 parts. It doesn't matter. The idea is that you're taking that time, that snippet of time, just for you, and to make sure that your products are not sitting there gathering dust. These are beautiful colours together, and just building it up nice and slowly. So just build that colour up nice and slowly. So I'm not pressing on too hard. I'm pressing on nice and gently. So this is my 3rd layer, and with that 3rd layer I can really see it's beginning to smooth out, and the reason it's doing that is I'm filling in more white areas of that card, so it's smoothing out lovely. So it's working really nicely. So let's just, it really does work beautifully. And what I love about this floral is it's lovely and open, and it makes me happy. So then I'm going to go to the mid colour, and with that mid colour come into the dark colour. Just come into that dark colour, just with your mid colour. Go straight back into the dark, just to blend it a little bit. And I'm just using that circular motion just to blend the colours. These colours really are lovely together, lovely and rich. So again, I'm not pressing too hard. And then I'm going to come to the poppy red, and again just come into all the colours with that poppy red. And can you see on this particular floral, I've left a slight white gap, just so that it appears as if the flower is shining. I just love these pencils. And then I'm going to grab my white Prisma colour, and then I'm just going to blend the edges of this one, just so that they're smoothed out a little bit. And just sort of smooth the edges of that colour out. There we go. So we've got that beautiful floral now. Oh, it's just gorgeous. So I'm then going to add some of that white Posca pen, just to lift that a little bit, just because it lifts it really nicely. And I've changed the colours slightly to the previous one, but it doesn't matter. It still works nicely with it. So I'm just adding a few dots of this Posca, like so. And try it very light, sort of. So you can change it up from how you did your previous snippet. Spot. Tracy's been doing that many things on the go. So you can just change it from your previous snippet. And then what I'm going to do is I need the grey. Wrong drawer. So I'm going to take a little bit of the grey, some water, just pick that up. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to go around the light bulb, just because it will just stand out a little bit more. I'll just blend that out. There we go. Just blend that out. Just so that it pops a little bit. And I do like to sort of add this in layers, so I'm going to do that. Again, I'm using my Pink Frog Super Smooth card, 4 by 6 inches, as I do for every snippet. And my new motto for 2025 is, don't rush. That's my motto. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether I'm doing a Thrinchy. If I want quality results, the idea is don't rush. And I'm not doing that. Again, I'm not restricted to deadlines anymore, and I'm not being told that you've got to do this by a certain time. And my motto for 2025 is to completely enjoy the process. And enjoying the process means no rushing. So I am not going to do any rush jobs of anything, because I feel like I enjoy it more if I don't force myself to rush to get things done in a certain time scale. So I'm going to go around the light bulb just to give a little bit more darkness. Do you know, Ian's put the heating on because of drying some clothes, and I tell you now, I feel like my skin's being boiled. So let's just add the darkness just to that sort of one side and the base as well. And I can come in and add some more to that when it's dried a little bit. So we'll just mop that up a little bit. Let's just mop that. Well, not mop, you know, as in with a proper mop, but you know what I mean. So then I'm going to take some vintage photo. So let's take that vintage photo. I'm not going to clean my brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of vintage photo, and it's absolutely fine if it bleeds into the grey a little bit. In fact, it looks lovely when it does. So just pick this up, just add a little bit of the grey. Let's just pick up the water now and just blend that out. And the wax pencil's not going to go anywhere. So pick it up so it's a little bit darker with that vintage photo. So just using that vintage photo just to add a bit of colour. And again, let's just take the vintage photo again. I can come in, whoops, just like I did with my pencils, and I can add a little bit more darkness just to the edge, just so that it's going to be a little bit darker. Now you can see where my ink pad sort of stuck to the non-stick craft sheet and just touch the edge of my card. We will sort that out eventually. Let's just blend these. So I'm just using the tinted water now, just to blend that out so that it doesn't have any harsh edges. So let me just get some clean water. And what I want to do now is I'm going to spritz this now, because what I want to happen is I want the brown to bleed in to the grey. So let's just move that, leave that there. Let's move this out of the way. Let's just clean this up a little bit. So whilst I'm cleaning this, I just want this to do its thing. It's now bleeding out into the background. And as soon as I'm happy with the bleed, I can then dry that card. Once I'm happy with the amount that it's sort of bled out, I can then dry that card. But I'm not going to dry it completely. It's going to have some moisture in there. And I'm then going to take TE11, which I can't pick out of the packaging. And I'm going to take that vintage photo. Now, because it's got moisture on there, that will affect the oxide that I'm stamping with. Let's just dry this a little bit. I don't think I've got any kitchen roll. Let's just dry this a little bit. Just because the surface is quite wet. The card is still wet, but just to give that gentle feel, I'm just going to add a little bit of stamping, just lovely. And it'll have a watery feel to it. I will lift it up so that you can see this. But it's going to have with a H, a watery feel to that. Let me show you, just so that you can see. It's got that watery feel to it. So it makes it a little bit softer in colour, which is exactly what you want. And I'm just going to leave that moisture on there, and then I'm going to find a brown Prismacolor pencil. Any brown will be fine. And then I'm just going to just add a little bit of a line just to the top. Obviously, I'm not going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to bring in the abstract trees. I've got everything everywhere now. I'm just going to take the stamp I've been using in my journal pages recently, which is from this is from TE35. I just love these at the moment. And then going to use, I always open the wrong drawer, you know, every single time. I'm then going to use, try to use sand dune. So I'm going to bring in sand dune, like so. And I'm just going to add the sand dune just to the top, just to give something for that light bulb just to dangle from. And exactly like I did in my recent journal spread, I'm then going to take VersaFine Clair Portobello, and I'm just going to ink a little bit of that up. And I'm just going to add a little bit of Portobello to give a little bit of depth. There's no need to clean that, but I'll just place that back on my abstract trees and place that back. And what I can do then, just to bring, if you wish, a little bit of this colour into the other areas, you can just add, I'm not going to, because I want that to be the focal sort of piece. So what I'm going to do, just to make up so that I've had, you know, where the ink pad, when I was pressing it down, when I pressed the ink pad down here like that, let's see it stick, and then it hit my page. So what I'm going to do, just so that it looks like it's part of the page, I'm going to pick up a little bit. I'm going to pick up a little bit here, as if this is part of the page. Let's move it a little bit, just so that it looks part of the whole composition. Let's just, there we go. And then I'm just going to mop all this up. Again, you could have mopped that up onto another piece of card quite easily. So what I'm going to do now is just give this a complete dry. Again, dry from the other side. This piece of card is quite wet now, so I just need to make sure that I dry the page. Let's just give that a little bit of a blot. There we go. Looks much better now. And I can tell it's still not got its sturdiness, so it needs some more drying. You can tell when it's dry enough because it's not sort of flopping, and therefore you don't have to worry about breaking down the card too much. So you need to make sure that it is thoroughly dry, and you'll know when it is, because it just, that's it, it's just got more oomph about it. And I don't worry about the pages bent, because I'll stick it in between. If I bring in the Snippet book, I'll place it on here, and then I'll close the book and for an hour, and it'll just all be perfect again. So I'm going to take this little Inktense pencil just to add a little bit more shading around there. Just pick this up. Just took a little bit of that water out. Just to add a little bit more shading. There we go. Let's place this here, and then I want to add a little something from TE32. So I think I'm going to add a little hedgehog, just because I can, and I can't resist the little critters, because for me they're just finishing everything off. So on TE32, I think I'll use, it's that one, isn't it? It's like I never know which way I want it to go. So we'll take the little hedgehog, take our black ink, let's move that up there so you can see what I'm doing. Just add my little hedgehog. Hedgehog. So I'm just going to add the hedgehog there. Just give that a little bit of time just to soak onto the card, because as you saw, it's got lots of moisture on there. So let's just give that black ink a little bit of a dry. I love the softness of the text. Let me lift it up for you. This is what I love. When you stamp like that, you get this watery text, and it's just lovely. You can see the difference where there wasn't much moisture there and there. It really does make a difference. For me, it does. So we want our little walking hedgehog to just have a little bit of grounding. We don't want him sort of floating. Poor little thing. We can't have you floating. Just clean that up. I'm going to add a little bit of the white Posca pen just to his little spikes, just to make them stand out even more. You can add a little bit of an eye as well. So I'm just making those spiky things just stand out a little bit more. There we go. I'm then going to add some Posca splatters. And then again, so that that doesn't react too much, I'm going to dry those Posca splatters, because obviously the moisture is going to react with the Distress Oxide ink. But if I dry that pretty quickly, it won't it won't react too much, because there'll no longer be any moisture in the card. That's it. And then let's go back to stamp set TE4. And I'm going to have the Beauty of Flowers sentiment just stamped on my page in the black ink. Just make sure that's not going to fall off. And then I'm going to add the Beauty of Flowers. I don't want it up there. Just going to add that there. Again, I'm just allowing it to sit on the card and not sort of rushing that process, even when it's just a sentiment. So let's add a little bit of Inktense pencil just underneath, just to give a little bit of shading, because again, whether we're creating Thrinchies or we're creating snippets, we still want to look like we care. Let's give that another little dry. And then that is snippet 92 finished. And if I bring this in, you can see that coordinates beautifully with the other page. But how the colours, how you can make them differ depending on the colours that you use. So I hope you've enjoyed that and that you'll give snippet 92 a try. Love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.